That's your live look at historic Doyle Field in Leominster tonight. It's the Facebook Live look-in here on the KZone. Alongside Kate Robbins, I am Todd Robbins for WPKZ tonight. Happy to have you along with us for our live look-in for this week 4 of action coming up. It's Leominster and Shrewsbury at the top of the hour on the KZone AM 1280 and 105.3 FM and streaming live the world over at WPKZ.net. Kate, for this week's Facebook Live look-in, it's an opportunity to talk about a few things. And right off the top, it's a couple of injuries for Leominster. Of course, things that cropped up in last week's game that we can now confirm tonight. Lucas Lashua and Jack Young will be out. That will affect the offensive line and the already new receiving core. It's going to get some more players and some different players, some action split out wide.
And I think you're absolutely right there. I mean, we have a set of receivers specifically that are, just kind of getting their legs under them now going into week 4. And now all of a sudden, Pat Gallagher and the offense having to probably, re-scheme things to try to get some other bodies involved. It's going to be very interesting to see how that affects the offensive play calling this week.
And certainly we saw the changes when Lashua went out off the offensive line last week. It affected things in the second half, and certainly after a week of practice, hopefully able to get some new players installed. We'll get an idea of who those are as the night progresses. Our, of course, lead tonight on our Facebook Live look-in, is the need for Leominster to block out the noise. You know how this community is and the rest of the Twin City can be, whether it's Leominster, Fitchburg, Lunenburg, and on down the line. When your team struggles, the coffee shop coaches start buzzing, and that, of course, causes all sorts of conundrums within the community. But tonight for the Blue Devils team, 0-3, they've been here before. It's a team that's been over 0-3 before historically and found their way into Super Bowl championships before. Certainly nothing new in that regard. So it's a chance tonight to stick their foot in the ground, unite as a team, ignore everything else, and beat a darn good football team in Shrewsbury.
Yeah, I think that's quite right. We know that the community, it's a double-edged sword. You want the community to take a vested interest. You want them to be invested in the team, and that's phenomenal. When you're winning, things just click. The community's happy, everybody's happy, things are great. But then when you have, a few weeks that are a little bit more on the downswing rather than the upswing, then all of a sudden the nervousness starts, and then all of a sudden the multiple conversations at those specific coffee shops happen, and at all levels in the Leominster community, those types of conversations we know are happening. Not yet time to panic, as you said. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill quite yet. I think this game is going to be extraordinarily telling. This game, I really do think, is going to determine really the heart and soul, the pace of what this Leominster team is going to be really all about. Can they themselves block out the noise? Can they kind of make it over the hump against a team I think that they match up well against? We'll see. They've been able to put a really great half of football together against St. John's. They had some flashes, as we like to say, in the previous weeks before that. But let's face it, they're going up against St. John's and Everett in weeks 2 and weeks 3 respectively. Both of those teams are extraordinarily formidable, not just in Central Mass, but in Massachusetts altogether. Not that Everett is a Central Mass team. I understand my geography. But, both of those teams are really, really formidable. I think that Leominster matches up against Shrewsbury a little bit more earnestly, a little bit more honestly. And to be perfectly candid with you, I really, truly think that this is going to be Shrewsbury's real first test of the season going into league play in this instance. So I think it's going to be I hope it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great matchup between the two, but it's one of those things. Is Leominster going to get out of their funk? Is this a trap game for Shrewsbury? How are things going to play out? And I think that we're going to find out early in this one to see who came up and showed up to play today.
Well, I think you make a great point about a potential trap game and also how much Shrewsbury's been reading their own headlines. When you're a 3-0 team out of the chute in the first part of the season, you can start to buy your own hype. It'll be a question tonight to see if Coach Aloisi and his bunch are able to stay focused coming into this football game. For Leominster, as we talked about, the possibilities of being 0-4 and 0-2, I don't think anybody really had processed that possibility coming into this season. And tonight, for them, they can't pay any attention to that. Whereas in reality, that's not something they can control. Their overall record, what they can control is this football game tonight. And I think with all intent and purpose, if they're able to keep their blinders on, stay focused, I agree with with you. I think they do match up well tonight. There are some places where if you looked at video of the Shrewsbury games against Groton, Dunstable, and Grafton, there are places for that Leominster defense to jump all over this offense, and there's also opportunities for the offense to maybe get themselves going and pick some things apart going down the field. So those are all things that we'll be looking at throughout the night. As we continue on our live looking again, top of the hour, starting first, bottom of the hour, KZone, we've got our countdown of kickoff. And then top of the hour, we have Shrewsbury and Leominster coming for you as well on AM 1280 and 105.3 FM. As we continue on our live look in a new segment this week, Kate and I decided to challenge ourselves.
After my favorite show every
in the spirit,
morning,
yes, Saturday morning, college game day, their Saturday selections.
Let's go get a mascot.
I was going to say, Lee Corso not with us tonight. There will be no mascot hats, but an opportunity for us to pick 5 games tonight, not the one that we will be calling tonight, a la Kirk Herbstreit. So the Leominster-Shrewsbury game will not be on the agenda for tonight. Instead, we'll be calling one of the 5 games that are going on throughout the weekend tonight, starting across the Twin City with North Middlesex, traveling to Fitchburg over at Crocker Field tonight. Kate, I can say that both of us did pick Fitchburg tonight, and I can say for me, I think Fitchburg is a better matchup against North Middlesex. I think North Middlesex still struggling, of course, trying to develop a football team and a program over the long term. Newfield coming down the line. They've been on the road quite a bit this season. So for them, I think it's obviously been a struggle. And under Coach Tom DiGeronimo, I think Fitchburg has found a way to gel. They've brought back a little of that old-time attitude. I think they stand a great job tonight. I know we both picked Fitchburg.
And I think that's entirely correct. One of the big things, there's a buzz around Fitchburg football, which is really nice. And I know, obviously, we're both Leominster born and bred. We've been bred into the rivalry. This is something that we've grown up with over time. But you and I have talked about it time and time again. The rivalry between Fitchburg and Leominster doesn't survive if both programs don't flourish and if both programs aren't sustainable. So the fact that Fitchburg, coming off of a few seasons that are a little bit more downtrodden, I love to see a rejuvenated Fitchburg Red Raider squad, and I really do see that and feel that buzz around the atmosphere in that Twin City of ours. So I'm pulling for Pittsburgh on this one. I think that they've got a good shot. And as you said, I think Coach DiGeronimo has really had those student athletes start to really buy into the prestige and what it means to be a Red Raider. So I'm picking Pittsburgh this week.
I agree with you there. What does it mean to be a Red Raider? And they have returned to that program as well this season.
All you're doing is just repeating all
no
of my
question
teams.
about that. No, none of that at all.
Just repeating.
St. John's finds themselves on the road against Wachusett tonight. We're both picking the Pioneers.